We feel like traveling back in time today, and what better way to do that is, of course, by going to a museum. We are buying a ticket. Welcome to Canada's largest living history museum, Fort Edmonton. It has 158 acres of immersive history. We will step back in time and walk through the thriving 1846 fur trading fort. Here we have the option to travel forward in time or backward in time. And for us, we chose to travel forward in time by riding this 1919 Mountain steam train. An 1885 pioneer settlement, the bustling streets of 1905, the jazzy 1920s, and the rich cultural traditions of Indigenous peoples. As the Indigenous peoples are the first inhabitants of Canada, we begin our journey in a time when they lived and thrived on this land long before European settlers arrived. As we step into the Indigenous Peoples Experience, we are immersed in their stories, traditions, and perspectives. This museum offers more than just a glimpse into the rich culture and history of Indigenous communities. It provides invaluable lessons about resilience, connection to the land, and the deep wisdom that has been passed down for generations. Now, let's move forward to 1846, the heart of the fur trade era. Smells like wood. There's a VIP lunch happening here. There's a VIP lunch happening here. Let's check it out. Oh, okay.
Wait lang.
Ooh, look at this. Wow, history is definitely surrounding me here. What's in here? You can almost feel the weight of history pressing in here, reminding you that every pathway and cabin holds the stories of the people who built their lives within these walls. As we step into Rowan's house, we enter the world of John Rowan, the influential chief factor of the Hudson's Bay Company. There's a bed here. What do we have here? There's a barrel of rums. So I think this is their cellar. Built in the 1840s, this was the largest and most luxurious home in the region, so grand in fact that it was nicknamed Rowan's Folly for its extravagance.
When you say the original, you're implying that this is a replica of number 1.
Mm-hmm.
This is a replica of number 5. So back in the day, it would have been clear cut for about 2 miles in every direction of the fort, and then you would have to go get firewood. When it became a task to get firewood, i.e. travel there a day, rest, grab your firewood, go back a day, okay, let's just move the fort. They tear down whatever they could, either just leave it there, burn it, whatever, and they would sail about 2 weeks downriver with everything that they had there. They would then rebuild the fort there. So 2 weeks from Fort Sask, we get our second Fort Edmonton. That one floods.
Okay.
They built it a little bit too close to the flood line, and then the water rose up and flooded out the entirety of the second Fort Edmonton. They once again moved. Fort Edmonton number 3, clear cut, day out, day back, we're good. Fort Edmonton number 4 is where we get something a little bit interesting, because Fort Edmonton number 4 burns down. We don't know if it's exterior motivated, as in a bad trade deal happened, or if it was interior, somebody accidentally lit a fire. Both are equally parts true. We don't really have too much records of that because 1, there's a bunch of forts that exist during this time, and 2, trade relations today are bad. I can't imagine it 400 years ago. Fort Edmonton number 5 is built closer to the Alberta legislature building there.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It is once again built a little bit too close to the flood line. The water starts to rise, and somebody says, we need to move the fort up. So they do move the fort up to where it sat for till about 1917. And that is where the lawn bowling field is right now. I believe if you go there, there's either a plaque or the actual posts where the fort stood.
Okay.
Where that was, and you can kind of see that location there. Fast forward to 1969. A bunch of individuals pull out the old blueprints that these spies made and brought it to Congress with an idea. We want to reconstruct the fort that was built up at the legislature on the old Mellon Farm property and open it as a living history museum. It'll be a park of Fort Edmonton. We'll come up with a name later, but we have the idea. And thus, Fort Edmonton Park began its construction in 1969, finishing in 1975, to which it stands for 51 years now. This is a replica of a replica of a replica of a replica of a replica. That being said, the house is the big unique factor of that one there, because John Rowan, who's the man that kind of runs this fort here, when he became chief factor, essentially not the top dog, but kind of like the third in that chain there, with the British crown at the top, George Simpson as the dignitary for the Hudson's Bay Company, and then him. He ran 13 forts, including Fort Edmonton, And that means he had buku bucks. He had this house built for him, his wife Louise Upperville, and 3 of his 7 children that are currently staying in 1846. And that's all the permanent residents. John Rowan was just a business mogul to the extreme kind of thing. As I said, he ran a district of 13 forts. All of them gave him money. So he was able to afford a lot of things that normally somebody in his position would not be able to. Most chief among them is actually the glass that you see on all the windows here. Glass is extremely difficult to get out to here due to the fact that it is extremely fragile and it's hard to ship there. John Rowan got every one of his windows with single pane glass, which is also where John Rowan found his first folly. Single pane glass doesn't really hold heat that nicely. So it would actually leak that heat from all the fireplaces during the winter time. It would be frigid in here. And then in the summer, because he had both these fireplaces installed, it would be insanely hot because there's no way for a cross breeze to form to get that hot air out of here. So it was hot in the summer and cold in the winter. You want the opposite of that.
Exactly.
It got to a point where, at one point, the courtyard that's just out there would be stacked about 6 foot high with wood.
Wow.
Half of that was brought in here to keep the house warm, and the other half was divided amongst the rest of the houses out there, and they were perfectly fine.
The things here, is this something from the past or just a display?
So most of the things that you'll see out and about here are going to be display artifacts. They are brought to us from donations to our artifacts committee.
Oh.
There is one original artifact that, if you follow me,
Okay.
this is our one original artifact. This is a ship safe that John Rowan would have used for his contracts. When you come here as a member of the Hudson's Bay Company, you sign a contract that says, I'm going to work this many years, I will make this amount of money, and at the end of this contract, I will be given this many acres of land. Typically it was about 2 acres of land there. That would then be put into this safe and stored for 1 year, at which point he would take it out, look at it, and say, I owe you this much money. That would stay in here. Now, we don't know if this was the actual safe that John Rowan would have used during the fort, because when Fort Edmonton found it, it was in a junkyard.
Okay.
It was about to be scrapped.
So this is period authentic then.
Yes, this is an 1846 safe. We don't know if it is John Rowan's himself.
Okay.
If you were to take a sledgehammer to this, trying to hit this spot right here consistently with 2 bumps in the way, you're going to be having deflecting blows, meaning you're not going to be dealing as much damage on a single point there.
Wow.
It's being distributed out in different ways, unpredictably.
That's nifty.
Yeah, and also it's on wheels. Yes, it is very heavy. I use the wall not because I am weak, but because it's just a pain in the knees. Yes.
Look at
Is
that.
it still functioning? Or?
I don't have the key.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty.
Curious what's inside.
So
Curious. Like there's
I
probably
wish I could
documents.
say that it's full of like gold, riches, and such like that. When they saved it, they opened it up and found the most glorious treasure of all.
Yeah.
Nothing. They opened it up, they had like a big ceremony to open it all up, and it revealed nothing. Which makes sense, it was in the junkyard. So they'd already probably cleared out the things that were inside that had value to it. More often than not, we think about the Hudson's Bay, and we think of the green, the red, the blue, and the yellow.
Yeah.
However, they also sold these blankets in this color as well. And what ended up happening is, back when the Hudson Bay first started like making these blankets, they sold that one color, and they were selling like hotcakes. And they're just like, why are they selling so good? Like, we had no idea. One day, a Indigenous elder came to it wearing a medallion of the Cree medicine wheel, which just so happens to share the colors green, red, yellow, and blue. It had a significance to their culture, so that's why it flew off the shelf. The Hudson Bay then started to develop other colors. Specifically, this one is very popular for Blackfoot nations. They love this black and the red there. There are the other colors. I know that some of my friends have capotes made of these Hudson's Bay blankets that are kind of that mustardy yellow. Some have lighter green ones. All of them having this color significant to a specific indigenous group, rather than just the broad appeal.
Like the Hudson's Bay is like synonymous with Canadian.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
As I said, if asking somebody who knows nothing about Canada, just giving them like the very brief slideshow, I show them hockey, I show them Tim Hortons, I show them the Hudson's Bay,
Exactly.
and then I might throw in lacrosse if I'm feeling fancy. And this is something fun I always just like to talk about here. So most of the things that we get are donated to us, to our artifacts team, and then put in specific spots. Anything that you see that's kind of behind the rope, I get permission to touch because I'm museum staff.
Of course.
But we have to be able to track where certain things are, because artifacts will come in, maybe want to clean something there. In order to keep track of that, that's where these little numbers come in here. So this is the year that they donated it, 1974, they donated this piece. It was the 91st person we saw on whatever day, and it was the 9th thing they donated there.
Oh wow.
So then they can look up those numbers, that's the succession number it's called. They have records of all the stuff that was brought to them. They can scan it, look it up, and be like, okay, it's made out of this, like they have all the information about this stored in like their own little archive. The same goes for the books. They probably also have succession numbers on them, but they have been here since I was a kid. I remember seeing pretty much these exact same books.
How many generation of family
John Rowan.
lived in this house?
Just
Oh,
one.
just
Oh,
one.
okay.
This was John Rowan's house. He grew up in Montreal. He was a part of what's known as the Northwest Traders, which was essentially the arch rival of the Hudson's Bay Company, who then merged in 1821. John Rowan was such a good worker, though. George Simpson, who is, like, as I said, the representative of the Hudson's Bay out here, said, we're hiring this guy. He does amazing stuff. And he stayed on. Once he was chief factor, that kind of mid-position there, he came out here and said, well, this is where I'm going to live, so I'm going to make my house.
Oh, okay.
So this was his house that he lived in. When Europeans first came to Canada, they didn't come with winter coats. So that's how the fur trade kind of started itself there. So that's kind of the difference in there. Yeah, they came and was like, hey, you idiots, it's minus 40 here, and it gets colder when you go that way. Take this coat. Oh, you also brought apples with you? Here, have some pemmican. Little things like that. Without them, we couldn't survive, but then that relationship swiftly changed when more white people came over. And then that relationship had to be kind of reestablished. And modernly, we're working our way to that reconciliation. That's what that word kind of means, where we myself as somebody who comes from settlers, I am French-German. I was not born on this land. I was raised on this land, but I don't have a deep tie as some of my coworkers might. I am using my opportunity here at Fort Edmonton Park to understand what my role as an ally to them is.
And also spread the word, of course.
Exactly, and spread this idea of like what this means to folks like you, folks who are watching this at home.
Yes, exactly.
Spreading these ideas that like we are passengers on spaceship Earth. We should treat each other as everybody. There's no us and them. It is a collective we. Let us live on it together is kind of the idea there.
I like that.
I am dressed as a laborer. My role here at the Hudson's Bay Company would be to be the big, strong guy that everybody wants in their life. My job would be moving furs from up here at the fort down to the river, and then taking the stuff that was brought from Europe and across Canada back up to the trade store to do the trades there. My job. The biggest thing about my outfit, though I said I'm not from Indigenous blood before, I am wearing what is modernly referred to as our Métis sash there. This is called. Specifically, this is called the Thunderbolt sash there, due to the finger-woven like diagonal patterns on it, compared to some people you will see wearing the Assumption sash, which is very much done on a loom, very straight patterns compared to the diagonals on here. This is holding me together quite literally.
And the knife?
The knife, this is also my tool belt. This is my work uniform. The clothes may change, but this will be consistent between all workers because I always need one of these to help me out with stuff. This is very much a modern knife that I don't make.
Oh, okay.
Yes, this is my Canadian Tire knife that I bought. But yes, the belt was very much just my tool belt there. Many people would have pouches, hooks, loops, kind of thing, depending on what they're doing. For me, the knife is a part of that. I also have a bag that I'm slowly working on for my flint and steel for starting fires. So people could tie something like this onto there to act as a bigger bag, hooks for hammers, little things like that. But it's holding you together because one of the biggest ways you die during the fur trader as a laborer is from a hernia.
Oh, okay.
Just your guts essentially exploding from the inside, so you pull it tighter to hold yourself together.
What's your name?
My name is Tyson.
This is a huge guardhouse.
Oh, okay.
As we step out of Rowan's house, we leave behind a legacy of power, trade, and resilience. This home was more than just a residence. It was a symbol of an era that shaped Western Canada. I think this is a prison cell.
Yep, I think so as well. Oh, you have the British flag. So this is what the policemen.
Yeah.
Yep, this is a prison cell. It is a prison cell. Let's see what prison cells back in the day look like. And it's dark.
And
It's cramped.
if you have like, if you are claustrophobic, I think will
Probably will,
suffer inside.
you'll definitely not enjoy
Yeah.
being locked up here.
Yeah. There's a bear!
What a wild ride through 1840. Now, it's time to fast forward to something a little more modern, to 1885. We are now entering the streets of, what year is it?
1885.
1885. Oh, the settlement era. Let's go see what we can find here. Education in 1885 is a privilege, and Belrose School stands as a testament to the town's commitment to learning. So this is how the school of 1885 looks like. Oh, hi. Good day. See? Blackboard. The desk they have here is kind of the same as the desk that we had when I was in elementary. I studied in a public school in the Philippines. So it's super like this. about her exquisite dress.
Or-
So all of the costumes are fitted directly to the interpreter that's going to be wearing them. So earlier when I tried this costume on, the bodice was a little bit loose and the sleeves were a little short, but they added the cuffs to lengthen it, and they took in the bodice a little bit so it fits me better. And this is the same for most of the interpreters on the street. If your costume doesn't fit you perfectly, our wonderful costuming team does the best that they can to get that costume to fit you. So it's quite special. Yeah, they're very,
Yes.
very hardworking.
Yes.
It looks like
Is this something that they wear back in the 1800s, even during the summer?
Yeah, even during the summertime. So especially here in Edmonton, you wouldn't have a lot of like the luxury silks or fancy velvets or anything. Most of the fabric that dresses were being made of was a nice sturdy material like cottons and wools as well. It's also to keep warm, right? It was all natural fibers, and really it wasn't super difficult to stay cool at this point because of wearing those light cottons. It kept things breathable, right? So you're not stuck in some polyester suit, right? Sweating, and
Exactly.
steam is coming out of your
Yes.
neck. So it's quite breathable, and there are a lot of layers, but I mean, there's air. There's
Yes.
air flowing through my sleeves. There's air flowing in my skirts as well. So it does stay quite cool.
Thank you so much.
thank you so much for
Now, let's take a look of how a house in 1885 looks like. It smells like my grandparents' house in here.
a pagbabayan. What? There's washboard.
What about
I
this?
think that's an ironing board.
For those who know, let us know in the comments what this is.
Nga.
This feels like my childhood house. Like us as well. We use this. I'm not sure what they call this in English, but we call this bumba in our language.
Or poso.
Yeah, or poso.
I think this works.
Yeah.
It does work.
It does work?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I? Oh
Yep.
my gosh, it works! Oh gosh. It works. Fast forward to 1905, Edmonton is transforming from a small settlement into a thriving city. On this street in Fort Edmonton, the bustling general store brims with goods, catering to the needs of a growing population. Early automobiles roll past, symbols of a new era where horse-drawn carriage slowly give way to engines and innovation. Step into the rhythm of daily life and witness how progress reshapes the way people work, travel, and connect in this rapidly evolving landscape. the typical workspace of my father. As I remember, the tools, the L ruler. Yeah, my father was once a photographer, and then he does wood lamination. So I always see like plastic varnish in the house, like the chemicals that he uses. This as well. Yeah. So this is one of my father's tools, something like this that I'm super fascinated about. And then before, when I was young, I know the name of these tools. I just forgot right now because he would always ask me, shine or die. He calls me Inday. Give me this tool. And then this tool, I'm like his little assistant because he doesn't have a son. We missed visiting the 1920s as we ran out of time, but based on everything we've experienced, this museum offers an unforgettable journey through history. Every era comes to life with immersive details, vibrant storytelling, and interactive exhibits that make you feel like you've truly stepped back in time. If you ever get the chance, make sure to explore the Roaring Twenties. It promises to be just as fascinating. Let us know how it goes as well.
Kabalo. Then, okay, ang kabala. Kabila. Fail. It's not safe.
Oh no, I know now. This is the one that you're Oh no. Until our next wander,